The dissent against Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his clan is on the rise. Now, according to the latest development, a group of students tried to storm into the Sri Lankan parliament. The protests were being staged by the Inter-University Students' Federation, which is the largest student body in Sri Lanka. Last night, the group of students marched towards the parliament roundabout, but in order to disperse the protesters, police fired tear gas. The student protesters later set up a camp along the road leading to the parliament. It's called Horugogama. Even after being tear-gassed by the police, university students decided to remain along Parliament Road and protested all night. The students are calling for the government as well as all 225 members of parliament to quit. Yesterday, the police had set up barricades along or around the sprawling parliament complex when the parliament was voting to elect a new deputy speaker. Pressure has been mounting on the ruling Rajapaksas to step down from their roles. Demands for the resignation of the president and the government are at the center of regular demonstrations which are being held throughout the country. The ruling government has been accused of mismanaging the economy, due to which prices of essential goods are skyrocketing and the country's reserves plummeting to record low levels. However, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and his family have made it clear that they will not step down. And for more on this, our correspondent Dasunia Thauda has sent us this report from Colombo.
The newest protest site that has now been established at one of the main entrances that leads to the Sri Lankan Parliament, which is right behind me, is steadily gaining momentum today. And this is not the only protest that is taking place in Sri Lanka right now, as an island-wide hartal is currently underway with the participation of more than 1,000 trade unions that have stepped back from their duties. Now, this includes government institutions, semi-government institutions, as well as private trade unions that have all taken a stand to step away from their duties in order to make their voices heard, as Sri Lankans across the country have now been protesting for more than a month, demanding for President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the Gotabaya Rajapaksa-led government to simply step down. Now, this specific protest site is mere 100 meters away from the Sri Lankan Parliament, where Parliament sessions are currently underway as well. Stay with WION as we bring you the very latest from here in Sri Lanka, both in terms of its worsening economic crisis as well as its embroiling political crisis. Reporting from Colombo, from Horugogama, I'm Dasunia Thauda.
Dr. Aruna Kulatunga, who is a political analyst and former advisor to the Ministry of Primary Industries, is joining us live to talk about the state of Sri Lanka. Dr. Kulatunga, welcome to WION.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me today.
How long will it take for angry Sri Lankans to be heard and something to be done to ease this crisis?
It will take a while. Basically, the situation today is that the general population, mostly the youth, have lost confidence in the parliament. They have lost confidence in the government. They want the president to resign. And now the call is being intensified, as you have seen with the street protests that are going on, for the whole of the parliament to resign as well, because for almost a month now, this call for a government to change or to the government to take notice of what is going on at the rest of the country has been made, and it has not been heeded, and therefore the call is now getting very, very intense for the whole of the parliament, or the 225 members, to leave. Now, of course, there is a constitutional issue here. We cannot simply ask the members to leave and have election. We don't really have the money to have election. So there will be an anarchist situation if that is to happen. So therefore, the parliament has to do something very, very quickly for two things. One is to regain the credibility of its own people, and number two, to do something, and that has to be done very urgently as well, right, to regain the credibility of the country in the face of the economic situation that is there, and to get the money coming back into the country.
Dr. Aruna, is stepping down from power too much to ask? The Rajapaksas are seeing what is happening to their country. Why are they not backing down or seeking solutions?
It's difficult. I mean, I'm looking at it from both sides of the picture. if let's say if the president to step down, who's going to take over? Because then again, it's, at the current situation, it is his own brother who would be coming, and that is not acceptable too, because that's the constitutional format in this country. The Prime Minister has to take over if the president steps down. The Prime Minister is Rajapaksa, former president, and that is not going to be acceptable either. And then there is a whole load of other issues that comes in that succession picture. So it's very difficult from that side just to step down, because that would lead to complete anarchy in the country. So it has to be somewhat organized, somewhat, I would say, managed through the parliament. That is taking time, and that is where the credibility is a question today. So I think former Prime Minister Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe made a very impassioned plea in Parliament today, saying, look, either we do this today or we walk out. There's no point of coming to Parliament, because we can't go home.
Finally, Dr. Aruna, we have been asking this question for some time now, but who or what can save Sri Lanka at this moment?
Repeat that again, sorry, I didn't get the question.
Who or what can save Sri Lanka at this moment?
There's the who is a question mark. What is basically, as I said, regaining the confidence of the world and trying to get our credit ratings back again, the economic process going, getting the IMF on the other friendly nations such as India, China, the Paris Club, the aid group that has been helping us over a period of time, all of them to come back and help us to kind of, an interim period in which we need some cash today, because as of today, I believe we only have 1 day of imports left in terms of the money that we have to pay for the imports, just 1 day. And that might even be wrong, because this was what was told to me yesterday. And today I'm not sure how much of cash that is there. So we are in a really, really bad situation today, total mismanagement over the last 3 decades of government. And therefore we need help, and that has to come from the international community and from the bilateral and the multilateral agencies that we are talking of.
We have to leave it there. I've been talking to a political analyst and former advisor to the Ministry of Primary Industries, live from Colombo, Dr. Aruna Kulatunga. Thank you very much for your time and for talking to WION today. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.